I'm Madhu Sharma and this is Design Mind. Every episode we teach your mind about design by analysing a website. In this episode of Design Mind, we are learning how to design an agency website by analysing Bopgun, which is an agency based in the UK. The front page starts off with this dramatic image. Potential clients generally look at several agency sites in one go, so using a bright bold image like this is excellent as it will make the site more memorable. The background is not only eye-catching, but it helps to position the agency as creative, energetic, and bursting with ideas. One problem with the background doodle is that it's quite informal, and so could make potential clients question the professionalism of the agency, especially as they already have the wacky name of Bopgun. Hence, the site uses quite a sober slogan to combat against such errant readings. The slogan reads, "Plan, play, perform," and so clearly conveys that Bopgun understands the steps needed to deliver a successful project. Scroll down and we get this introduction section that explains the agency's ethos. The images on the right contain famous brands such as Just Roll and Top Gear, which reaffirms their credibility. The famous brands take centre stage in the section that comes underneath. The user can click on any one of these branded post-it notes to open up a case study slideshow. The case studies are excellent as they give a quick, at-a-glance overview of each project. I'll just scroll through a few of them to get a feel for how they look. This back button at the bottom helpfully returns the user back to the main site. Given how good this section is at showcasing the agency's talent, I kind of feel that this earlier opening introduction section is unnecessary as it doesn't really add anything. Scroll down and we get another slideshow, which this time displays the agency's services. The first slide creatively lists all their services as a menu. It's quite a clever way of displaying information and anchors the earlier messages of creativity. Although I still find the list off-putting as it's very dense to read. As clever as the menu concept is, it might have been better if they'd used a grid of images to illustrate each service, as this would have made it easier to understand the services at a glance. The other slides have an in-depth look at some of the more specific services. The use of imagery for each slide is eye-catching, but again the text is very dense. They should have used pull quotes and bullet points to aid skim reading. This is particularly important because, as mentioned, potential clients look at several sites in one go, and so often only have time to have a quick glance at each section. Scroll down and we get this team section. It's always great to include photos of the design team, as it lets the audience literally put a face to them, which helps in building a relationship. The use of the hand is quite quirky, although it doesn't really seem to relate to anything. When using creative design such as this, it's important that the creativity carries some message, otherwise it can run the risk of seeming pointless, which doesn't create a good impression. It's also a shame that the user can't click on the images to learn more about each person, as such techniques again help with initial relationship building. Next up is this blog section. Blogs are generally great, as they can showcase new happenings at an agency, allowing the client to get a better feel of the agency. The Bopgun blog is especially good, as it often examines projects that the team are currently working on, and so it gives a peek at the creative process. The blog area only displays one story, but when the user scrolls onto this section, this sub-navigation appears, which lets the user browse more content. While I commend the attempt to keep the blog section clutter-free, I think having one story is too few. I also think that the sub-navigation is too subtle and will be easily missed. The actual blog post stories are displayed quite well. They maintain continuity with the homepage by reusing the bright yellow colour scheme and doodle background. Each story begins with a large eye-catching image that helps to create engagement. The content is split into a 2-column grid. The main column displays the story, while the right column offers navigation links. Unfortunately, the navigation for the blog is quite weak. As we saw, when you come to the blog section on the main page, this sub-navigation pops up, which provides access to blog categories. However, when we go to an article page, the sub-navigation is replaced with the main navigation. This seems like an odd decision, as the sub-navigation was perfect for browsing articles. Instead, the user must go to the right-hand side and access the list of categories. Accessing these categories is not a smooth experience, as the right-hand side needlessly repeats the main navigation, pushing the categories area down the page. Going back to the main site is this Where We Are section. It contains an image grid of the agency's office, which is a nice touch. Unfortunately, you can't click on the photos to view them at a bigger size, making it hard to get a feel for the place. Underneath is this large map. Given its size, it would have been nice if they had integrated the earlier section into it, as having 2 sections related to location seems a little odd and untidy. The final section closes the page. I presume it's supposed to be a call to action, but there isn't anything about the text that makes me particularly motivated to get in touch. It doesn't help that the email address and phone number are quite small, and so will be easy to miss. Given how large this section is, it would have been nice if they had used widgets to bring in content from their social media pages. Let's finish by analysing the site on mobile. The mobile version is exactly the same as the desktop site. The main difference is that this service slideshow has been removed, and the slides are now stacked on top of each other. I'm not sure why they've done this, as it makes the page really long. On the plus side, the bright designs for each section help to segment them clearly. In conclusion, Bopgun certainly has a few issues. However, it is an excellent site, thanks in particular to its colourful and creative graphics, which help to establish it as being an imaginative and energetic agency. That's it for this episode of Design Mind. A new episode is released every Monday and Thursday. Find us on the web at www.designmind.info. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/designmindinfo. You can also find us on iTunes. We'd love it if you could leave us a review at any of these places. Until next time, happy designing!